Okay, looking about the table, I noticed the presence of a quorum, so I'd like to call the meeting to order. And with that said, could we get you, Reverend Jonas, to lead us in invocation?
I'll do my best. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, in Jesus' name, God, we thank you, Lord, for this day that you've given us, Lord, and we ask you, God, to help us and guide us, Lord, in this meeting tonight. Help us, Lord, to take care of the business in a way that would be pleasing unto you and best for everybody concerned, Lord. And God, that we do it in a timely basis and in a way that is pleasing unto you. So God, again, we thank you, Lord, for each one of us here, and help us, Lord, to take care of this business in a way that's pleasing unto you in every way. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Let's all stand for the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. That takes us down to the minutes from the last meeting. We'd like to entertain a motion to accept the minutes or to make changes as needed.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as present.
I'll second it.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of accepting the meeting minutes, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Okay, minutes have been duly. Okay, that takes us to citizens' time. Alma, are you coming to watch the zoo? Won't be long, you're gonna be part of the zoo.
I'm just coming to get sorted.
Well, that's good, we appreciate your interest in it. I don't, Mike, that he'll answer if he wants to add some. Take us through citizens' time to correspondence. Do we have correspondence from the town office?
Do. I was hoping Peggy would be here. I just called her. She's been in urgent care. She's got a virus, so she didn't feel like sitting here and didn't want to give everybody else.
Yeah, really.
Basically, you've got it in front of you. It's just an offer from Rural Retreat, the school, to do hot chocolate and cookies at an event. They wanted to do it after the parade, but in the last meeting, Peggy had talked about setting up a separate event involving some carolers and kind of maybe try to get Santa down there and a tree. So I was hoping she would be here, but I'll get with her to try to set up a date for the event. She says she wants to organize it. So I think she's going to reach out to some of the churches and things like that to see maybe the Boy Scouts of America would want to do something to raise money. And I had said at the last meeting, and I did call Dean Eggers, who is a friend of mine, about a tree. He's got a 12-foot tree, but he's also got a 25-foot tree. 25-foot has not been trimmed and is not ready, but the 12-footer could be a tree. And from what Mike's saying, it would be hard-pressed for us to set up a tree down there.
Any tree.
Now, we have ordered a tree that is like the lights coming down with the pole, and it gets staked down and everything. I think it could endure the weather. And then the depot graciously donated is it 9 foot?
Mike, is it 9 foot?
I believe it is. A 9-foot artificial that we can put under the farmer's market the day of our event, have it sitting there, in a stand, just for that event that night. So, but I'll get with Peggy and see what kind of date she's wanting on here for this one. But it will be separate from the parade.
So we're not gonna try with the live tree, you're just gonna use the
Mike, do you see any way without staking it down with something and,
It'd be a mess.
yeah,
And where it needs to go, getting power to it and different things like that.
Well, that's something we should anticipate, that we maybe, if we don't get it done this year, that we,
Plan a place to put it,
you know,
yeah.
Well, the-
determine a place and make arrangements.
You know, the flagpole Christmas trees are pretty, I mean, that's what I call them, you know.
But on that note, Derek and Monica really did a good job. I think they shopped around and they got to ask for approval for the lighting down there at the Santa Claus and the reindeer. I think it looks really good.
Yeah.
It does.
I've had a lot of people say that it looks really, really good. And it is on a timer, so we don't have to go down there and unplug and plug it up. So I think her kids, or her grandkids were down there the other night, and they absolutely loved it, so. And then, like I said, every year we're gonna plan on doing a little bit more.
Yeah, you may have to do that. Okay.
So you're going to defer Ms. Ferguson's request to,
I've talked to the principal and let them know that we had planned on doing it at another time and place. And he is gonna pass that along to Ms. Ferguson, so, and let them know that we are gonna have something, but it's gonna be at a later date. But I'll get with Peggy, and it needs to be settled sooner than later.
because you have the date chest with the grade there on my letters. Is-
Yeah, I know, I noticed that.
Okay.
The third.
Okay, we have any other correspondence from the town office? Okay, we have correspondence from council. Everybody's answering up big tonight. Okay, Derek?
I had 11 incidents this month, and that include suspicious person, welfare check, assault, business alarm, 720 miles patrolled, and we've got every traffic worked out for the parade. I think Mike and town crew's gonna block all the roads for us during the parade, so we'll have everything ready for that.
Good.
And you beat me, right?
Yes, sir. I probably have, them two girls may want to ride, but we put them in the back seat.
That's right.
Yes, of course. Yeah, we need to, that's always a good time. People really get enthusiastic this time of the year. Okay. Anybody have questions other than that for the chief? You know, Royal Retreat
That's it?
doesn't have a whole lot, there's a few shenanigans go on, but it's pretty quiet, the town is, so,
Don't say the Q word.
yeah.
Just jinxed it.
We will not go any farther than that. And if it does come about, he can fix it. Okay. With any other questions for the chief? If not, now, Derek, Jason, you just say the word, you know, carry, do your report or answer up as we call it. So under the downtown revitalization, do we have anything?
I have a couple of things on my report. I've gotten a quote for a footer to be poured for the fence on the downtown lot. I called the fence company, talked to them about it, and I'm meeting with them early next week. We have the option of doing the footer or doing or them putting in the poles. I want to make sure that I have everything correct, because when that fence is installed, I want it to be completely straight. I don't want any of this. So when we met to go over the property with the contractor to kind of get a proposal together, he said that was imperative that had to be right. So I'm not rushing into anything. I've got a quote for the footer. I've got a quote for not having a footer. But I want the fence guy, and this is the owner of the fence company, he's gonna meet with me next week to tell me exactly what needs to be done so that this thing is, the depot looks really, really good. It's uniform, it looks good. I don't want ours on the other side doing this. So I'm being kind of picky about this, but I'm doing it for a reason, because that's the first thing people are gonna see get put up down there, and I don't want it to be incorrect, so, I have a price for a footer and a price without the footer. On another note, it's kind of on downtown revitalization, Derek and I met with some officials from Chilhowie, and he took a look at their new splash pad, took quite a few pictures, and the inner workings for the system are not as complex as I thought. From what I could tell, they don't use any pumps. It's gravity fed. And they just have valves on each little mechanism that does the water. And they can just adjust those valves to see how much pressure is on each one, because obviously you don't want too much pressure, but or not enough.
Throwing kids in there.
Yeah. But it actually is not that complicated. It's not a complicated system. And then I'm gonna get back with their town manager, because they really couldn't give me an exact, and he just got hired there not long ago.
Did we check on the insurance concerning all that stuff?
I need to address that. Let me get on. They haven't had any issues. They had one kid fall, and that was because, and it wasn't because of the surface. They got some kind of, there's a little turtle, and it's slick as glass, and some kid they said, do not get this turtle. If you get it, whatever you do, do not get it. Because he got on it, chipped a tooth, and.
Well, I'm not saying anything about that. I, certainly hope nobody falls, but we need to be aware of that.
I'll look into that. I will tell you, in multiple places at the park, they do have rules and regulations. And the way theirs works is you can go in front of any of the apparatuses and kind of push a button or wave your hand, and it comes on for 15 minutes and it goes off. So it is on a timer at, I think in the summertime months only, it's between 10 and 8 p.m.
Is there an age limit for these things?
They did say.
No,
there-
Jim, you can't play on
There is, if you're a certain age or under, you have to be attended by, and that's on their rules, you have to have a parent.
I think I'm safe on that now.
Okay. They said that the only issue they had is they found some homeless people in the bathroom. But they said that they really haven't had any issues, and the public response has been, they said positive. I mean, they haven't had any negative feedback from it or anything. It's fenced in, about a 4-foot fence. I mean, it's a nice looking facility. Of course, it's only been there for a year.
Jim
They had 2 single bathrooms there, male, obviously male and female, and then they had it was a 4x8 utility room where all of their inner workings are. I mean, it's not a whole lot to it. And then they have drains, and it goes into their sewer system. He did say that the first month, which, it was the new thing in town, and people were there a lot, that they used about 60,000 gallons the first year, the first month, which in a month, that's not all that much. And for, a certain amount of time throughout the year. And generally, they'll do it just like a pool does. You open on Memorial Day and close on Labor Day, so. But I don't think it's gonna be as complicated as nowhere near as what I thought it would be. Especially if we can use gravity feed to do it. I have heard some people, they actually plumb Chilhowie's to where you can actually, reuse the water. So it's plumbed to do that, but they've chosen not to. I have heard somebody, did you talk to Hills when they said that?
No, Mike Nuckett did. Mike Nuckett.
And you said, they said it was a disaster. But it's filtered at the plant, so, if we decide not to do that, it is pure town water.
You have potable water, chlorinated potable water.
It would be safe.
Yeah, it won't grow anything.
But I just wanted to report on those 2 things, Mr.
Did y'all stop and look at the dog park?
No,
Just one.
they did say that, they had a park that they had some tennis courts on, and they transformed them into pickleball courts, by putting up pickleball nets. And they said that that was a huge success. So,
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions? Monica Seats topic.
My footstool.
Oh. Okay. And the next item on there is the Heritage Day. Dale put out the text, most everybody got it, but he's got a child with a foot problem, it was broken, or anyway, they went to have it x-rayed. So that's where he is. So we'll probably just go ahead and skip Heritage Day unless somebody has something they want to report on. Okay. That takes us to the upgrades to the water plant.
I don't have anything to report.
Could we use that time for you to discuss the water backup system? It would be,
I've got it in my report, but I can. I met with Stephen Bayer, last week about future interconnect of water systems with Wood County in case of an emergency. From what he presented to me, and he showed me the numbers in real time, he has a big screen in their new meeting room. And we went over the details, and he's gonna draft, something for both localities to consider. It would be, in case of an emergency, a set rate for us to use their water system, for water supply in our system, only in case of an emergency with a master meter set up and a backflow. And then vice versa, they would want to have access to ours if they did have problems on the west end of the county. He showed me the unit price that they want per thousand, which is exactly what they're paying with bill, with a small markup for electricity and things like that. We go in 50/50 on the infrastructure, which a lot of the infrastructure is already in place. I mean, the water line's already there. There will be some, probably need to be a pump, a station, pump, and maybe some valves here or there. He's going to get it together, and then more than likely, with the way the second council meeting is lining up in December, it's gonna be Christmas Eve, which I'm assuming we're going to dispense with that. But with the new, he's got to appoint new board members, we've got to appoint new council members to committees. So after the committees have been appointed, I think we would need to get together, us and them, and go over all the numbers and discuss what our rate's gonna be and what their rate's gonna be and what our cost is gonna be. But it will give us that backup that we haven't had. Our water plan is not getting any younger. So it's something that we need to consider and look into. And I'll be honest with you, his proposal seems absolutely fair to me. But we do have to come up with a rate of what we want to sell them. And I will tell you that he considered, and then the rate would bump up, but only if it's over 60 days. So if we go 60 days without water, then we've got real big problems. And it'll keep us from having to, if we were to lose our water plant, we would have to bring in a tractor trailer with a filtration system and pumps to even get it to our customers. And that's not something we will end up doing, because that's gonna be very expensive if it's for any amount of time, so. But I'll be getting back to you with that.
Alma, I'm going to set this aside. I don't know if you know anything about what he's talking about. It's been, it ain't like, in a sense, we've got what, at least 18 years we've been talking about it.
Seriously, 5 years.
Serious, well,
Well, that's
but
what I've been
anyway,
I mean, really.
it's sort of a big deal. We don't have a backup. And that's what we're talking about. The county has, we don't particularly want their water, but it is potable water. We're on the far end of it, so taste and odor will be a consideration. In other words, you will notice a big difference if you go to the spigot and get a glass of water. But we think it's time, we're gonna have to do something. And there's gonna be a fairly big expense, making this interconnection, because we can service, I don't know whether we can service the gallons they need, the volume, but they can't service the town because of our elevation. So we have to invest in a pumping system to pump their water, and the water will come off of Radio Road, is that, what are you thinking about? I can never think of that lady's name who lives up there, right beside George O'Brien.
Martha.
And Martha, the water line comes just above her house. So what we planned was to take that water from Martha's house. You knew what I'm talking about?
Can't think of her last name.
She was a vault, but I don't know who she, does that make sense? It's a very short distance to make the interconnection, and we were talking about somewhere right at Blacklick Road and Radio Road. There's a pretty good sized piece of property that it can be had, and that we put a pump in there to pump water to here. If we just stopped and used there where it comes off of behind, not far from Fred Brown, it'll go 20 feet up in the tank, which means myself and anybody in Chinky Bend, we can't get water, so we're going to have to pump the water. And he did say to Jason that in the middle of July and August, they're interested in using our water because they are failing. It's called disinfection byproducts. And the only way they can pass the test is to waste their water in a sense. We get calls, almost daily. Says, y'all got a big leak over here, and it's a county wasting, and that's the word they use, water, let it move far enough water pass through that they can pass a test, but they can't pass the test. So it's sort of a big deal, and it would probably take $3 or more million for us to do what we want to do, and that's to develop the spring there right behind the, the Dutch Pantry. So we have a huge spring right there, but it has to be treated. So anyway, it's sort of a big deal, and you're going to come in right in the middle of it.
That's right.
So where's that money coming from?
Well, I said you were going to come in. Not to be smart to you, but you'll be involved.
Hopefully we can, best case scenario is since it's a joint venture between two municipalities, the county and the town of Oak Creek, maybe we can get some grant money for it. The thing is Witt County and Whitfield both have a backup. If they can use each other. If something were to happen to their water systems, they can rely on each other. If something happens to our water plant and it gets shut down, this has been haunting me for 10 years, because that's the last thing in the world. And I've sweated over there for months, me and Mike Whalen, that this will at least, if something happens, we can turn a valve
And get water.
Now think about, I know we've been talking about it, but think about what would happen for 3 days, 4 days. There was not a drop of water to be had in the country. I mean, and it would
So-
be,
It's,
If I
it-
could, I would like to maybe get with Mike or someone that can show me, take me to the.
well, no, I'm sure.
what we need to do, honestly, what we did, I guess what was it? I think my second Star Council.
We've done it
was really
before.
neat.
Yeah.
They took us on a little tour of the wastewater and water plant, and it was really,
See,
it'd
I'd like
be
to
good.
do that.
It'd be good for you to see, so you can
It's,
see, and, I mean, and really, you get appreciation. I mean, really.
And I don't
It's-
like, I don't like to sit up here and talk about something that you guys haven't seen for yourself. I mean, it helps me out too.
you see, again, that was the very reason why I just was to single you out, but great day, we're not in a crowd. So, well, I chose to single you out, that you and Bob both are going to have to be involved in that, and this, you're probably gonna just have to ask questions.
And
And
I will.
do not hesitate.
It's a real learning curve. It takes a while.
It takes a little bit. You don't come in, this is a new job. You do not come into it. It's old hat for a lot of us. But if you don't know,
And I'll be glad to take any time, and we'll sit down.
yes,
and go over-
he got
I'll
the
get Mike,
keys.
We'll go over plans and everything else.
It's a big deal, and it will make you a better council person because you won't have to ask questions that you will know the answers to.
It
It's-
definitely sticks with you. I was in Waikiki Beach and thinking, what do they do with their wastewater?
Well, and honestly, and the good thing is, it would make you a good council person, like Mr. Mayor said, but you can, if somebody comes up and asks a question, you can answer it. That's what you're there for.
Well, see, the town has no idea what goes on there. And a lot of the times, well, they don't care. They mean, if they turn on their spigot, they want water. And if they don't get water, then they'll start howling. And it's better to answer up with a reasonable answer than I don't know, click. That doesn't work good. But anyway, I just thought, just to take just a minute, it's a big enough deal that I don't know of anything truly, and I'm not sure we treat it with enough seriousness. We used to really have a terrible problem with our wastewater. We flood the plant, and it kept Jason up long enough. We got some government money. We did not fix it, but boy, did we make it better. And this is big enough deal. We may not be able to fix it, but we have to make it better. And I just don't want you to feel left behind. Bob knows more about it. He's been involved with the town, but will be welcome at the same time to participate. Any question, answer. It doesn't have to be done before January 1st. Not saying that, but sometime close about you need to have your tour, and then you can start asking questions that they can be given, answers given to you that would make sense. It's not, background's the key. I had a really good friend who's passed on now, but he said, you cannot do anything or work on anything if you don't have the vocabulary. It has to make sense. One of the first meetings I had when I worked at the American Screw Company in shipping and LTL. Does anybody know what LTL means? I don't know, they just kept spouting off LTL. Shug knows what it means. It means less than truckload. That's simple as that. But I had not a clue. And I said, hey, look, y'all just gonna have to forgive me. I don't know nothing about this. What does that mean? So you'll hear that people get full of, I said an acronym, is that correct? They'll get full of acronym, they'll go spouting them off, and they don't mean anything to you until so.
Don't feel bad, say, whoa, 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 what's that?
Yeah, just say, oh, here, whoa up a minute. And then you take care of yourself. And if you take care of yourself, you take care of the people you work for. That, of course, is that part of the speech. That is not us. You work for the people in the town of River Tree. So, anyway, I'll get off of my soapbox. Jason, you've got that fixed there. That takes us to the upgrades to the sewer plant.
Yes, sir, I had that in my report as well. Been waiting to get this well pump put in. I talked to Mike this evening, and there was some miscommunication between the town and it's not Mike's fault, it's probably my fault. And the electrician, AEP was contacted, about the town, about the power for the well pump. Originally, the work order was turned in incorrectly. From what I understand, the proper work order has been turned in and the approval was pending AEP. So it was how was it turned in, Mike?
It was turned in disconnected, reconnected.
Okay, and instead of a new service. Okay, so we're still waiting on that to get approved through AEP. Luckily, like I've said in the past, we're not using water for that in these months. It's generally during the summer months, more so than now. So it's not affecting our water production at this point, but I'm hoping it gets done pretty soon. If not, then we're gonna have some conversations with some people. So, but just wanted to report that, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Anybody on council have questions? This is another one, it would be a nice long-winded thing. We'd be here most of the night, but you'll have to ask questions about this same thing. So anyway. All right, Main Street, concrete repair.
Talked to the individual who gave me the quote. He's sticking by that quote. And
What
he
was
said-
it, Jason? I never did hear.
Is it 10 or 13?
Not 100, not
Holy cow.
200, yeah.
I had
I thought it was 18.
maybe it was.
I like that young man. He pretty
The
methodical.
problem is it's going to, he says it's going to take him a week or more.
That's all right.
But he said,
He doesn't want to work anyway.
he said that he thinks.
Like you do.
He thinks he can move it up to January and get it done quickly. So he said he'd get with me after the first of the year. And I did say this in the last meeting, I didn't put it in here, but more than his services, the traffic control is gonna cost the town more than anything. But, you know, to get what we need to make it safe, you know, I feel like the town, we got the money.
When we get ready, we need to, we'll have to build some sort of bridge so the people that live upstairs can get up there.
Okay, do they go up, do they just go up here on the side? There won't be a huge.
In the middle of the building, there's a stairway that goes up.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to coordinate that. Okay. But I think that's gonna happen sooner than what I had originally, reported it would probably be March. But I think, I'm talking to him, it's gonna happen sooner than later. And the next one's property clutter. They're getting a second letter. Rode by the properties as recently as today. Still, the back of the Elm House is not, has not been cleaned up. And the one on Parsonage, some of the clutter's has been been cleaned up, but there's still some there. And also, they're still not in, they're still in violation, in my opinion, of the trash ordinance because they have cans that have sat out there for, I've washed them for 5 or 6 days with trash bags in them, and they just leave them out at the roadway, so they'll be getting their second. I said at the last meeting, I was advised by VML's attorneys to give 2 notices. Both of them are getting ready to get their second notice, and then at that point, we're going to proceed with citations, and we'll go through the court system to see how we want to go with that. But in my opinion, they haven't satisfied the needs that need to have been done to bring them into accordance with the ordinances that we have.
And I assume you haven't heard anything from those property owners.
You talked to.
Yeah, Becky come in here last week, said Chris was back in the hospital, that she had been working on, which I did go over and one day, and she was doing some stuff. She said her son was back in the hospital, and she was going to keep working. But I told her she was gonna get another letter.
But
She also stopped my husband.
she did.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna talk with the town manager. We've talked to her and talked to her. And I'm going through what we're going through with, and we'll see where it falls.
But we have
At least-
went,
At least we'll have it.
we have went above and beyond what would be normally expected from a municipality. I'll just say that, I'm not,
This is gonna be either what we can do or what we can't, so. That's the way I feel about it at this point.
We are appealing to the higher power. Take it down to, how you like it? No, not quite that high. There are degrees of higher power, but anyway. How'd you like that, Shug?
Right out there.
We didn't talk to the main man, we just talked to some of the underlings. But anyway, okay. Is there any other unfinished business? Anybody have anything they want to bring up? All right, that takes us to new business. Do we have new business?
Just, motion and a second to dispense, unless you guys wanna meet on Christmas Eve, to dispense with the 12/24
so moved.
meeting.
Need a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas.
This is a normal occurrence. We do it so we don't have to meet on Christmas Eve. Nobody wants to meet on Christmas Eve. You won't get very good attendance. So
Probably
anyway,
wouldn't have a quorum.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say.
yeah. So why bother the people who think that they need to come and just do?
That's right.
Yeah.
There's a little thing,
Somebody's naughty list.
just for information there, and that's something we'll have to deal with after January the 1st. Somebody has to sign for the bills, and I'm given the ability every year to sign for the bills. And after the Christmas holidays, that bill run is available to all councilmen, so they know what it is. Somebody, the bills go on whether we meet or not. But anyway, like I said, you as a council person have every right to look at what went on and ask questions after the fact. And it can be dealt with if necessary. So, in other words, you're not being left out as a new councilman. Everybody's left out. But anyway, we ask questions, and it's something that's done every year. Same thing. Okay, that's it. Any other new business?
Can you vote on that, motion, please?
That's right, we didn't vote on it.
No, he didn't.
I'm all just
I thought that's all it took. Shug said it. It's done.
It's how you say it.
Okay, with that said, do we, is discussion over with? I was just gonna tell Alma so she wouldn't think of what we were doing. Okay. That dispenses with the, so all those in favor of dispensing with the final meeting of December, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Okay. Our secretary is in place and has recorded that. Okay. Any other new business? All right. That takes us to the committee reports. Do you have anything finance and appropriations you'd like to discuss?
I have a couple things. So in front of you, you've got a memo about the personal property tax relief. We do this every year. The 2024 personal property tax book has been received based on the vehicle information from the Wood County Commissioner of the Revenue, and the number of vehicles being taxed for 2024. I've calculated the 2024 personal property tax relief rate. It calculates to 34%, and that's 6.36% decrease from the 2023 rate, which was 40.36. This is required because of legislation passed to eliminate all personal property taxes for individuals in Virginia. When this rate reached 70%, it was frozen, and now localities receive a lump sum payment. We received $17,068.90, and we have to distribute that money based on the value of the vehicle and the number of vehicles that are in the town, and that's how we determine the percentage. The tax relief is applied to all vehicles based on the following. $1,000 or less eliminates the tax on the vehicle. A percentage rate of 34% has been determined to be applied to vehicles valued between $1,000 and $20,000. Vehicles valued at $20,001 or more will receive 34% relief on the first $20,000 of value. So if I could just have council motion, make action to approve the 34% for 2024.
So moved.
I second it.
Okay.
Got that? Any other discussion? All those in favor? You all remember, have questions of its wording, you may ask. If not, all those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Okay, Margot, that motion carried.
All right, I have a couple more things.
That's
So,
all right.
I think I reported last time that I received the real estate tax book. I have sent everything in for conversion. They've set my conversion date up for 12/18 for the real estate tax. And once I do the conversion, it has to go to the printer. So those real estate bills probably won't be able to go out until about probably the 3rd or maybe the end of December. The personal property tax books were received, and I've got those turned in for conversion as well. And they've set me a preliminary date up of January the 3rd. Now, that's the latest dates that those can be converted, so they could be earlier if she gets ahead of herself. I was hoping that we could do them at the same time and get the tickets out at the same time. We just have to see where we fall on that list of people. So the next thing I need you all to discuss is a due date for taxes. I was hoping we weren't going to have to move that, but our due date's normally January 5th, and I don't foresee getting all that done.
Didn't the county push them back to
The
the end of
county
January?
pushed to January 31st. I would suggest that we go to February 28th like we did last year, to give us time to get, I like to give people 30 days from their tax tickets received. So I think if we do February 28th like we did last year.
So you need a motion on that?
I do.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Or Sean.
You can write down Sean if you'd like.
Yeah, makes no difference.
Okay, now, discussion? Anybody have? If not, we call for the question. The action is to move the date to send, no,
Due date.
the due date. I knew that didn't sound right, for taxes is February 28th. Okay, Anybody have questions, whatever, do that. Everybody understand the motion? Okay. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Okay, that motion carries. For that as such, you need anything else?
I have one more thing.
Okay.
I have a meeting set up with the, tax people on Monday. It's just a Zoom meeting to discuss the, setup of the tax, the collection system that we're going with. So,
Right.
just letting that out.
Okay, that's for information. Okay,
So, yeah, one more thing, I think everybody's got this in front of them.
that's on the new business.
Yeah,
Okay,
under finance, I guess.
well, that's all right too.
We met talking about, big plans for Heritage Park. And give you, I think everybody was here maybe, but anyway, our last, was that officially an audit? Anyway, yeah, our last financial audit, our, auditor mentioned the fact that we have a lot of money in reserve. And so the finance committee met, and, anyway, they were making a recommendation, to do phase one. Already done phase one, we approved that.
Phase one's already been budgeted, it's already a line item in the budget.
Okay,
And that's,
that's right.
that's using the cigarette tax, revenue.
So anyway, so, you know, like I said, you guys see right there, phase one is almost like all the infrastructure of the park and whatnot. Phase two is gonna be the meat and potatoes, you know, the pickleball, splash pad, renovating the building, lighting, sidewalk, like kick and boot. So we made the recommendation to, set aside $1 million in funds for phase two. But we feel like, and again, y'all help me out here, we feel like if we do that, then the bulk of that project, the whole project will be done.
We feel comfortable with from the cost assessments that we got from Hurt Profit Engineering and from contractor input, that would be suffice to do what we have planned down there for phase two, which would really change the whole face of the town. I mean, when you come across the top of that hill, it's gonna change everything. It's gonna go from, and it's been a long and tedious process, but it's gonna go from, my opinion, some dilapidated buildings with car axles behind it, to a park with things that Rural Retreat won't have to go to Whittle for anymore. You know, you can take your kids down there and have a birthday party, a splash pad, and a pickleball court. Pickleball has really become an event for people. Just ask my father, he's addicted. But it's gonna change the whole downtown. I mean, it'll be the biggest thing to ever happen in the town of Rural Retreat as far as the amenities go.
As far as.
I can't think of anything.
And again, you know, we've talked about it plenty. We've talked about that. It's been a long journey, but, you know, we have put the pipes in the ground when we need to put the pipes in the ground. We put the money in the ground, and now, you know, again, with that cigarette tax money, we can bring it up and get ready for the big splash, if you will, and do something that everybody can see and enjoy every day.
And me and Monica, I'm not gonna say extensively, but we've talked about it quite a bit, and we actually went over it with the auditor. And generally, I think we've spoke about this before, but I'll just go over it a little bit. They want municipalities, and she said it in here the other day, to keep 2 months of operating expenses on hand. That's not acceptable to me. would not be acceptable to me. I mean, you know, I would advise you guys against that. But we have so much money in reserve that we would still have plenty of money left if anything were to happen to keep the town going. Actually, I think we have too much in reserve, in my opinion. And we need to, I think it would serve the public best, because like Sean said, we put the pipes in the ground, now let's do something that the people can see, put their hands on, and have a good time with. In my opinion, I would not feel, and I'm just telling you based on what we talked to the auditors and the contractor and from the financial aspects, I think it's a good thing. I don't see, I wouldn't feel scared to do this, is what I'm trying to say.
All right, make this go, you've got it in front of you, a whole lot of people who worked on it to make the motion.
So the first, phase one's already set. That's, I mean, that's,
We're asking for phase two.
Yeah.
Phase one was set in the budgeting phase, or in the budgeting, when we did the budget. We decided to put all the money that we had received from the cigarette tax revenue in to that preliminary phase one, or that phase one that you see there.
yeah.
And that's a lot of the pavement, drain structures, concrete, site excavation, things like that. Phase two, what we're asking for is going to be the stuff that.
The finished product.
It's gonna be the building, the pickleball courts, basketball courts, whatever, and the splash pad. It's gonna
Has
be-
anything been said about the building?
Building is in that.
In,
That's the existing building renovation.
okay, I missed that.
All right.
And what we're asking you tonight to do is set this money aside, and that is just kind of like earmarking that money for this project, so that when we have our next audit report, when you all look at that amount of money that's unspendable, this money will show up in that report as unspendable. And, you know, this is just a number that you're setting aside. This is not the quote to do this project. This is what you're saying, based on what we've been told from the engineering company and the contractors and people that know what they're talking about. We think this is what this is gonna cost you. And it's probably a little bit of an inflated amount, you know, just to make sure we cover everything. So that's just setting money aside. It's not saying you're gonna spend every bit of that money or
Well, I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Now you can discuss
I think I already did.
it. Already did.
It's great that this is coming out of the cigarette tax. I think.
Right.
Well, a goodly portion of it.
Well, a good
anyway.
portion of it, not that million.
And a lot of that's gonna be based on the preliminary plan, big plan there that I think y'all have smaller than the point, but.
So this is setting, this motion is, to set aside reserve funds in the amount of $1 million, to fund the Heritage Park and Phase 2 of the Heritage Park and Market project. Just so everybody knows what the motion is. Jim, is that what you agreed to?
Yeah.
That's what I seconded.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of setting aside the said amount, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Okay.
I've got one other thing. I asked for some more money. Nowhere near as much. But we kind of had sat down and talked about a manager for the farmer's market, for an individual that would take care of all the farmer's market activities, the permitting, making sure that all the market is set up, that all the vendors are set up like they're supposed to, have labeling like they're supposed to. And there's a lot more to it than I ever imagined there would be. So I'd like for council to consider taking out of reserve and making a $10,000 salary for a farmer's market manager, which has all the, we've done some things. I'm not gonna say we've chosen a candidate, but we have talked to somebody that's very knowledgeable about it and the permitting process and everything. She'll be taking care of all that and taking care of everything. So we would, you know, because we don't have, number one, I don't have the knowledge to do it. I mean, you have to, there's so much about these farmers markets that I mean, it's shocking because of liability and things like that. So, and we had discussed it in past meetings, but I'd like to get a motion to set that, in from reserve to hire that person.
Can we, I think there was talk about letting that person that we're interested in doing and helping coordinate some events, helping out with Heritage Day and possibly future events. Can we do it farmers market manager / events?
The person that we talked to,
Something-
yes.
Okay, I just want to make that distinction.
The person we talked to before, she does a Christmas bazaar, Christmas bazaar, Halloween stuff. I mean, there's more to it than just the farm.
So it would be a year-round position?
It'd be a year-round.
Okay.
All right, so moved.
Thank you. Any second for that?
I'll second that.
To the River
I'd
Runners,
like
a
to
second.
that one.
Okay, does anybody have any discussion they'd like to add to it? Make sure that,
I think that's a really smart move, and it's something that maybe sometimes we've been guilty of.
well, if you don't have somebody to do it, it
Right,
just sits there.
Just saying, well, we'll take care of it ourselves or whatever, but I think this is a smart move.
I would like to thank the Depot
Oh, really?
Foundation for what they've done for us.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Throughout the years. I mean, they've done a lot for me.
Okay? Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of setting aside the $10,000 for an event coordinator? How about that for wording? All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That either means everybody's asleep, or it's gonna, everybody's done a little thinking about this, so I prefer they be accused of thinking about it. Okay. With that said, actually, it takes us to personnel ordinances and legal matters. Nothing to speak of. All right, it takes us to Jason's report.
I have just a couple more things that I have not touched on in the unfinished business. I contacted Utility Services Company. They've changed their name a dozen times since I've been here, about the current conditions at the outside, on the outside of our orange water tanks up here. I don't know if you've driven by, but it needs to be pressure washed, which is their job. Maybe a fourth of the way up is in pretty bad condition. I mean, it's not affecting our water quality, it just looks bad all the time. And I'm waiting to get that scheduled, so I had some correspondence from an individual within the town that was asking, why that looked the way it did, so. And I agree, it does look bad, so I had contacted that. And just another small thing, I spoke with electrician about replacing the light and sensor for the Flagler Community Center. He thinks it would be better to go ahead and kind of mount one halfway up the pole that way, because if it's on the ground there, if the playground, kids step on it and knock it here and there, so that's probably gonna be something we look at going forward, is doing that project. Unless anybody has any questions, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
And to open yourself up to questions, anybody have anything they wanna?
Did we ever get a resolution on the streetlights? Did we get a hold of somebody?
Yeah.
Didn't Peggy have
Not to make a resolution, but this AEP
Right.
ever said they're gonna do
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Did we ever get a?
We talked to Mike Newman, he came in here one day, and we went over where every light was. And I think he fixed the one on Chinky Pin, but there's still several out. The
Yeah, that's
one-
what I was
The
thinking.
one still at Jim's is still out, the one down here at Church and Baumgartner's still out. The one out at the end of Jefferson is still out, and we've reported all of them multiple times. There's one at Sunset that the lady called me about. They fixed it, it went out again. So, I mean, I don't know, I mean, this was going on before Helene ever came through, so
Yeah.
I don't know if they went through an adjustment in their workforce or what's going on, because we used to turn them in within a week, they were fixed. And for some reason, I mean, the one down here at Church in Baumgartner and the one at the end of Katrin there at the Baptist church that's out too. I called those in 6 months ago. So that answer your question, we've talked to them even personally, and I don't have a resolution for it.
You might have to get hateful. so-
Something's changed. Something's obviously changed.
I know back in the early summer, you could see Mike out on, they had a night shift crew out. He was there, he was working like second shift, and I'd see him in town all the time, fixing, and then all of a sudden.
Maybe it needs a little bit of more personal, say, y'all, look, is there something going on we don't know about? That may be the way to word it, not being hateful, but this is, is there something that, can we do something to help? And of course, the answer is no, we're not supposed to be up there, but it would be nice way to start a conversation. So maybe if you could see that, you could ask that question. Okay, Martha, that takes it to you.
Okay, we wrote these checks. Alpha and Omega Repair Service, $1,154. Amazon, $20.94. Atmos Energy, $264.39. Baldwin's Heating and AC, $775. BMS Direct, $469.52. BMS Direct, $1,100. Brentag Mid-South, $2,017.78. Bright Speed, $73.13. C&D Truck and Safety Supply, $84.60. Centos, $695.60. Food Country USA, $70.62. George S. Jones, $60. Hurt and Profit, $2,872.50. Jesse Jones, $60. Casey Automotive, $830. Lincoln Financial, $234.97. Little Big Enterprises, $28,152.06. Meredith's Garage, $50. Miles Concrete, $1,800. Norfolk and Southern Corporation, $1,977.36. Premier Plumbing and Drain, $3,331.36. Principal Financial Group, $211.80. R&R Enterprises, $174.48. And Smart Design Contracting and Consulting, $700. And that's a total of $47,180.11. Anybody have questions on those?
How and while that goes around, you will receive all that information with an explanation. It tells what it's for. So it's hard to sit here and try to memorize it. When your council term starts, you receive that. You can look at it, and then if you think you need to ask what it is, you're more than welcome to do so. Did I make it?
Close enough.
And with that said, we signed, on top of all the bills, she has a synopsis of whatever, and then the bills.
Who's Mickey Mouse?
Is who?
Mickey Mouse.
Oh, that was me. But anyway,
He said
and that's what we're signing, is it goes right, meeting has to be in order. We can't stop and then sign this, it's not legal, we have to. And when Jim finishes, then we can start the proceedings to adjourn. But that has to be signed. I may be telling you something you already know, I don't know. I'm not trying to be smart, I'm just,
No, I appreciate it.
we're just, you know. A lot of time, like I said, it'll go by, it took a while to figure out what was going on when they go by, especially when Jim was telling me to shut up and don't pay any attention to it. No, I pick on him, he was good to me to start, he's an old hand, and we will try our best to answer anything that you, any questions you have, anything that crosses your mind. It's all at your disposal, whatever. You'll know anything, and if you don't ask, it's your, you know, you've made the mistake. So fear not, and we appreciate your time, as always, and if nobody has anything, we'll go back to the Reverend Jonas has asked us to adjourn.
Did you hear that?
I wanted to ask one quick, I've already had people coming to me.
Sure,
Asking me,
they do.
when is the railroad, how the tracks are right now?
We have